related to, as a taxpayer in Hillsborough County and someone that works in Venice, knowing my tax dollars are going towards Casey DeSantis nonprofit, the Hope Foundation, or the Hope whatever it's called. Can you please mention what our speaker for that? Freedom of speech.
I think we need to dodge in every state, right? I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with it, but hopefully something does. You know, our taxpayers' dollars go to so many useful things. And just like even fighting against smokable flour, our taxpayer dollars were going to that lawsuit. Fighting against the opening up of licenses, our taxpayer dollars were going to that lawsuit that lasted for 4 years. So our taxpayer dollars, despite 71% and 57% supporting legalization, continue to go against this industry and against these products. And it's really, I mean, it's something we have to continue to stand up for. And exactly like she said, let's cut property taxes, make it easy, allow people to live in Florida, not rate them year after year by your taxes going up, and tax a reasonable product that everybody uses. And you're worried about all the spring breakers in South Florida? Let them smoke a little weed, they'll chill out.
I'm going to go more into Hope, Florida. For those who don't know what just happened.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Casey DeSantis, James Uffmeyer, our Attorney General, who has been appointed and non-elected, stole $10 million from Medicaid. That is point blank what has happened. That flat out, like, there was a Medicaid, there was a company that was overbilling the patients, and there was a lawsuit, and they came in and did a pre-negotiation, and instead of the settlement being $67 million, which is what it was supposed to be, $57 million went back to the state to have these overpayments. $10 million from whoever has this investigation's going to go through, who was in that room, took $10 million of our dollars, Medicaid, federal dollars, to help needy families, took those dollars, then transferred it to Hope, Florida, which is a product of Casey DeSantis, and took the $10 million, then shuffled it $5 million and $5 million to two other PCs that were run by, at the time, the chief of staff for Ron DeSantis, who's now the Attorney General. It went $5 million. Then that money went to attack Amendment 3 and Amendment 4, and eventually the money went to the Republican Party of Florida. If that isn't criminal all the way down the line, RICO all the way up the line, and we are not going to let this stand. We have asked the Republican Party to return the dollars to the state of Florida. We have made sure, and obviously we did not uncover this, it was another Republican, Representative Andrade from the Panhandle, and he is not letting it go. And as of this week, the state attorney from Leon County has opened up an investigation, criminal investigation, and everybody is hoping the Department of Justice, or at least the Northern District, does so too. Somebody's got to go down for this.
Yeah. And return the money and put it on the ballot.
What she said.
Yes, go ahead.
My second question is related to rescheduling and what your thoughts are on rescheduling.
At the federal level? Yeah.
I'm going to let the attorneys finish on this, but I will tell you that as part of what Cannabis Action Network did when all of this came together was we did an extensive working group bringing in people from the United Nations to look at international policy, people looking at what was happening in federal law. We met together over about a 3-month period in an afternoon. Some people knew nothing when we started, and they did little research jobs. Some people edited it at the end. And we have a position paper on our website, flcan.org, talking about why really what we need to do is to deschedule cannabis. So the flower should never have been on the Controlled Substance Act. There are probably preparations of cannabis that could easily be controlled because of what they are, and once they are controlled, then they become part of the insurance scheme, right? And that's a great use for some of these products that pharmaceutical companies are going to want, but the plant itself doesn't belong to the Controlled Substance Act.
And I'll be really quick, and I'm gonna go into my normal hat, that we are in favor, obviously, of the descheduling. We think that a long time. Is there gonna be a difference if you're in a legal state or a medical state? How does the 280E going to be applied at that? There's just too many other questions. Just deschedule it and call it a day. I don't know why we're going through this whole shit show.
And the shit show it is if you watch the descheduling. There's been lawsuits against companies because they're colluding with the DEA, and one pro-cannabis company was allowed to testify, and like 12 anti-cannabis companies. So it's really been a disgusting process on the federal level. I, continue to bang my head against the wall and file in state court motions to dismiss based on the constitutionality of cannabis as a Schedule I substance. There's an awesome dissenting opinion from the early 80s, late 70s, where a dissenting judge in the 70s said cannabis has medical value, it shouldn't be a Schedule I substance. And we're still here today when the #1 deadly drug that we see, we gotta stop the infiltration of fentanyl, is a Schedule II substance. Come on, get real. It's got to end. So I continue to fight for that, and I will tell you it will be appealed. And we have now a 252-page report from Health and Human Services recommending it be rescheduled. And we have the end of Chevron and deference to these agencies. And in Florida, they're not supposed to give deference to these agencies. So I'm just hoping the judge will listen and do the right thing, because there's no way that cannabis should be a Schedule I substance.
Since the event is Cannadelic, I can also say that in terms of psychedelics, the last time I came to Cannadelic, it was right when Australia had descheduled psilocybin and MDMA, and since then in the U.S., now that we have RFK Jr. and the head of HHS, and he's pretty pro-psychedelic, they may have an impact on rescheduling psychedelics to maybe schedules like ketamine is. I know that the FDA, the head of FDA, Marty McCary, was on TV just last night talking about trying to push psychedelic therapy. So hopefully we'll see some movement. We still have time for maybe 1 or 2 questions. Go ahead.
What's your opinion on the threat of psilocybin sports becoming illegal? How do you control that? How do they?
Yeah.
So she asked us.
Oh yeah, it's already passed. Sorry.
Right,
But how do you control something that's just in the air? I don't understand.
You control that something is in the air.
How do you make something illegal that's just everywhere?
So what you're gonna see is selective enforcement.
Yeah.
So it's 100% just another charge to be able to put out there, another opportunity to give them. Mushrooms were already quasi. This one is definitely going to go through the courts, and there's 3 ways to change the law. This one's absolutely going to go through the courts because it says any spore capable of producing mycelium.
Right.
Hello. The one thing that, if I don't get to say anything else, I want to say that whatever you do when you leave here, make sure you have